It's just that everything in life comes with randomness.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe in fate or destiny?
You mean determinism?
Yes.
No, I don't.
You don't? Do you think it's all coincidence, like random?
Like free will.
Free will?
The problem is that if I go very, very, very deeply into pure mathematics and physics, everything in a way is predetermined. When I throw a dice, it's random for me, but the physics is
Right.
calculable. Like we can calculate it.
Yeah.
If we know exactly every of the parameters at the moment that I throw the dice, and if we extend this to whatever event in life, including those that we don't observe but will have an effect on us on the long run. So if we had like a super fucking crazy computer that could compute everything, then it could say exactly what kind of sentence I will say to someone in 20 years.
Yes.
The only thing that add up a little bit more spice is the quantum physics and the fact that there is a form of randomness that goes beyond our understanding. Like some atoms will snap and create energy, and some other will be more stable, even though they are pure twins atoms, the same age, same whatever. And that's randomness makes me believe that determinism is not a thing, but free will, the way we consider it, the way we consider it is also not a thing. It's just that we are
What do you mean with the way we consider it?
our lack of considering things with a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like our computers or our brain cannot compute the effect on that wave on that skin that will touch that nerve that will change my very tiny neuronal connection and make me choose another tone or choose another word. But if I was not a human but something higher, and I don't believe in something higher, then I would know. So yeah, this is why the free will. Yeah, I believe there is no determinism. I believe in free will. I believe that I move because I decide to move, and that's my brain and my decision. But this is also the result of things that it's absolutely out of my hand and out of my reach of understanding. And in a way, it was all written since the beginning, maybe, but not by a god, not by something that we have to achieve, just by pure physics.
Well, that's very interesting.
But you know what I mean, or?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I just don't know if I would necessarily agree. I mean, to be honest, I never thought about that probably as thoroughly as you. But I think you can you can always make a case for both sides. I mean, you said maybe it's meant to be that you are like this, and maybe it's meant to be that you have this opinion, that you have a free will, and maybe every decision that you make is predetermined. In the end,
Yeah,
I'd say you cannot always be completely sure. Like maybe you don't have plans for tomorrow and you say you're going to decide spontaneously what you're going to do tomorrow.
for sure.
Yeah, but maybe already today, you know, it is set, but you just don't know it yet.
Well, just one thing. You said in two different ways it was predetermined, and you also said it was meant to be. I'm sorry, but meant to be implies a decision from something or someone. Predetermined, I'm fine with this term, but meant to be, directly, I cannot not think about a certain god or a certain force that have a will, like a desire for direction of every individual and stuff. And so I'm not a big fan of it was meant to be. This is yeah, it goes too far. But
Were you raised religiously?
no,
Not at all?
I'm not even baptized. My both parents are atheists. My siblings are atheists. I'm atheist. And it's funny because I remember in many countries I've been, but even in France, and even though when I was still like, quite young, I remember telling my Christian friend which is so bad. We were making fun of him because he was going to a catechism, like classroom of Bible teaching and stuff, and we were just making fun of him, which was like fucking stupid of us. Like very regret, and he was such a nice guy. But anyway, I was
I
saying,
mean, you were young.
yeah, we were young. It's not always an excuse, but it's
Not always an excuse,
partly
but
an excuse.
yeah, partly, yeah.
And I remember that I was saying, well, Johan, that was his name, Johan, you are Christian, right? Yes. And both of your parents are Christian. Yes. Well, don't you think that there is a link? Like, it's again about free will. Like, would you be Christian if both of your parents would have been atheist or Muslim or something else? And he told me, yes, yes, of course. And I thought that his answer was very stupid. Really. I mean, no offense to him, no offense to all, but to say, of course, talking about the dimension of life that we never experienced, to have certainty about something is very, very, doesn't make any sense, you know, like.
Yeah, it's not very well thought through. But
But we were kids anyway, so.
I just wanted to mention, yeah, he
Yeah,
was also a kid, so
of course,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I kept asking this to different people, to adults, uh, like, you believe so hardly in your God, like it's like there is only one, and you believe in the right one, and you are so sure, but you must acknowledge the fact that you are raised in a family that believe in this very God since centuries, including your both parents, your siblings, and everything. Don't you think it makes you a little bit biased about your belief? And someone told me, yeah, but you are atheist and your parents are atheists, so it was the same for me.
Yeah,
The exact same.
exactly, yeah.
Um,
But don't you think there are cases where the parents are atheists and then the kid
yeah.
becomes a Christian?
Well,
Or also the other way around, the
or the
parents
other
are
way around.
Muslim and they become Christian, or Christian and they become Muslim?
I think it's a little bit more frequent when the sons, I mean the children are becoming atheists rather than getting into a religion on your own when you're coming from an atheist background. I intend to believe, also based on statistics, that there is more and more atheists in the world, which I should be neutral about that, but I can't lie, it kind of makes me happy.
Why does it make you happy to have more atheists in the world? What do you think what positive effects can that have?
It's very much based on my own belief system already, but since I don't believe there is a God existing, I quite intend to believe that people who are religious, they waste a part of their life. And because I'm atheist, I don't believe that there is anything else after life. So I value life as the most important thing in the world.
Okay.
And the less there is religious, if there is no God, the more generally, like on a big scale, people will be slightly happier. Or by this, I mean they will not waste their time dedicating effort and you know, not eating this, not fucking that, just because of a God that don't exist. So for me, yeah, more atheism, more freedom of doing things. But I also experienced many religious people who are certain that if you don't believe in God, you don't have the values from the Quran or from the Bible or from the Quran or whatever. Therefore, you are a bad person because you don't know the good values of God. And many people think that being atheist is a bad thing because you are not afraid of the consequences by God
In the afterlife.
in the afterlife or
Yeah.
during life for people who believe in karma or this kind of thing. But this is so twisted. I believe I'm a good person, and I don't need a God that promise me the worst if I do bad things.
Okay, well, why do you think you're a good person? I mean, I don't disagree, don't get me wrong.
No. Yeah,
I
no.
think you are, but why do you think you are?
I'm a utilitarian.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm a utilitarian.
Okay.
That's utilitarian people believe or follow utilitarianism.
Yeah, I have an idea of what that is. Yeah.
And that consists of always choosing, moving, thinking towards what will create more happiness for the biggest amount of people. So literally speaking, if I have no idea about you and I who will be the happiest for the rest of our life, by happiest I don't even mention duration of life, because there is intensity, duration, there is different things, but for me only happiness is the only parameter that matters in life. But if somehow I know that you will be happier than me if we both keep surviving, but someone force me to kill either you or me, I will kill myself instantly, because my life does not value more than any other life. It depends. It does. If I'm happier than this person on the long run, or if I do provide some other people to be happier, it's like so because of this belief system of that that makes me always polite, always nice, always trying to cheer up people, basically trying to improve global happiness. Um, Therefore, I will never do anything wrong to anyone, unless I know as a fact that it will provide more happiness, but that's very rare, this kind of cases.
You said happiness is like the most important thing to
Yeah,
you in life.
yeah, because we have, according to me, of course, we have only one life.
Yes.
Uh, Even more important than procreating and spreading your DNA on the long run, like which is what evolution
Yes,
not
is designed to, or has
designed to. Yeah, I
designed
was
to,
about
yeah.
to say expect from us, but there
Yeah.
is no expectation from evolution. But yeah, for me, I don't care having children or not. I just want to be as happy as possible. This is the only duty that I feel that I have in life. This and making others happy. But
And therefore increasing the total amount of happiness
yeah,
in
and
our
it,
existence.
and it works both ways. You know, like the more people are happy around me, the more I am. The more I am, the more they are. And
Yeah, I also heard that, how do I say, that is that also, making other people happy makes oneself even more happy, because there are certain views on, like, how to get the most out of life or how one should conduct life, and there are also views that every human being is very selfish, very ego driven,
yeah,
and just wants the best for oneself. But I think there are also studies who indicates that the more you care less about your ego and the more you actually work on making other people happy, the more satisfied you are yourself, or the more happy you are yourself.
I I totally agree that this is what I observed so far in my life.
But what I think is also happiness. I sometimes have, or I'm getting more and more in trouble with that term, because I think
Which term?
sometimes
Happiness?
happiness,
Okay.
yeah, or with the urge to be happy, because I think sometimes people, they feel stressed when they are not happy. And I think this is a fundamental part of life, of existence, that you're not happy and not satisfied. And maybe in our life nowadays, like using social media and stuff, you see, oh, there's like this urge to be happy, like, and then people feel like misplaced or not enough when they don't feel happy all the time.
I agree, but that's very much different. It means that you don't know yourself enough to make yourself happy when you are constantly in this research and when you are deeply sad when you are not happy. You know, you can be happy or stabilized, neutral, normal, but not sad because you're not happy. Like you have to learn how to cope with not being constantly in the highest peak of happiness.
But that's not easy.
That's not easy,
That's not easy.
but social medias is I can't talk much about it because I don't have any, but that is,
No, we don't have to. It was just like an example.
but it's I don't know. I can't really rely to that because I don't know. But what I can see from my girlfriend scrolling on Instagram and stuff like that, it's or Facebook. I used to have Facebook a long time ago.
Me too.
People just pretend. It's like,
I also think mostly it's fake.
of course, and also the more you focus on your virtual life, like the fake one that you provide online, the less you are focused on your real one. and therefore the less you know your real yourself, because you work too hard on your fake yourself. So you're wasting time.
You're wasting time on a fake profile, on like an artificial version of you. This is like the online version of me, who
Yeah,
always have great food, who is always at the sunny place, who's always on the bright side of life, and it's just not true.
and including wasting time discussing with people that are not close to you humanly speaking, but just because they complimented you on that picture, and you entertain few relationships online, but you deeply don't care.
I think it's funny because it's in a way it's the exact opposite of what you just said with your view on life, with the utilitarianism.
Utilitarianism,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because you know using social media in an unhealthy amount actually makes oneself more unhappy. I believe that, but it also make the people who like consume it, who see your posts in the newsfeed, also more unhappy. I think in the long run, because you're wasting your life on a fake profile, on something that isn't real, and also other people who see it, they think it is real, and they just see the beautiful pictures of their, like, I don't know how many friends you can have on Facebook, 5,000. They just see, oh yeah, just like all the guys that I'm here befriended with, they have like great lives. And I think it's the exact other way around, it makes everybody more unhappy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
But it doesn't contradict what I said about happiness. It's just
no,
it's another argument to explain how social media has just twist the perception of people towards their own, yeah, towards even the concept of happiness, jealousy, like envy. This is very toxic, like there is a stats that tend to show that the youngsters, people who are born after 2000, they are more likely to be depressed, more, basically, let's say, unhappier than our generation. And our generation is kind of also, I'm not saying that it was better before. We have to go along with the way the world is evolving,
yes.
but it's not a reason to accept every direction the world is going. The climate, the yeah. I don't even want to start listing things, because I don't want to paint a bad painting about the world. I love the world. I love life. I love humans, but I don't think we are going in the right direction. I'm pretty pessimistic about the future.
I mean, yeah, and I think there's also, I mean, as always in history, there is like an anti-movement already, which is, I don't know, I don't have numbers, but this anti-movement, I mean, digital detox is a term nowadays. People, more and more people are getting like a digital detox, which can be defined however, just not look at your phone for like 24 hours or to a week, or just not using media, not consuming the news.
Yeah,
But I think people, maybe also the majority, subconsciously notice that it's just not good.
yeah, but same for any other kind of addiction. They know it's not good, but they keep doing it.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from it because why do you think it is? So get to why do we start using it in the first place, and why can't we stop using it?
Well, just imagine that you are 16 years old. All of your friends, they do have Instagram, they do have Snapchat, they do have TikTok, they do have whatever.
It's like a group pressure, you mean?
Yeah, of course it's a group pressure. When you
Especially when you're younger. Sorry to interrupt you,
no no
but
yeah
I think back of my teenage years. I mean, nowadays, if I, for example, if I go to a party and I don't drink, I'm like, I don't care. If I get offered booze 20, 30 times, I just say I don't drink and I don't care. And I also don't judge people who drink. But back in the day, when I was 16, 17, I think I wouldn't have that strong character to say I don't drink.
well
And if everybody around me was drinking, I then felt the pressure to also, get the booze in. And
but at least you did this work on yourself, which I still didn't.
yeah, but you did other work on yourself.
Of
I
course,
mean, you
of
can't
course,
be you can't do everything at once. So
I agree. Um, but that's I don't know. This is way too cliche to say that there is two categories of people: the one who try to improve who they are, and the one who just don't give a shit and go with the flow of their own life. Um, I think to start dropping our own ego will kind of naturally force ourselves to look for better ourselves, and it will take a lifetime or 10 lifetimes. Like a life is not enough to reach the person we would appreciate to be perfectly. Perfection, of course, does not really exist, but yeah, I mean, I wish I could stop smoking because it doesn't. At least this has an effect on my brain. It makes me social. It makes me more
In the short run, yeah. In the long
chatty.
in the long run, it probably has a bad impact on your brain.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm quite of a cripple, by the way. My brain is handicapped. I I know it's a lot of people say it, but I believe in my case it's real. I can't project myself in the future. You know, carpe diem. People tattoo themselves carpe diem. Yeah, live life like every day is the last and stuff. But still, the exact same people are working in an office, paying for a credit for the 25 next years, and they are stuck in a life that. So of course they already think about their retirement and stuff like that, but still pretend that they live life to the fullest, or at least they do in the social medias. But in the real life, it's pretty much the opposite. Anyway, I'm not trying to make myself different from anyone, but it's a problem, by the way. My inability to project, I could not save any euro in my entire life. So I'm of course I'm poor, and I'm very often dealing with money troubles, and I have no backup whatsoever.
But you're happy, right?
Um,
Fundamentally.
Fundamental. Well, it does. Again, happiness is not binary. Uh, there,
No, but would you like, or could you even like picture yourself in a different way, you know, having like a 9 to 5 job, but having like a lot of money and never ever, like never ever have to worry about money issues at all? Not meaning that you're like a multi-millionaire, but
yeah, yeah.
just earning enough that you can always pay your bills, you can buy what you want, but
Mhm.
you have a fixed office 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, no, I can't. Um, uh, yeah, I wanted to respond to something I forgot, but my this is the kind of life that my dad has. He's not that rich at all, like middle class, but he's like upper middle class architect, and he's still working and still not retired, but he
Oh,
spent his entire life complaining about it, about his job. It was like a big source of stress, constant stress that was spread on others, on us, on the family, and on himself mostly. And I had some issues with my dad. I don't know if it's the place to talk about it or whatever, but I just told myself when I was 15, 16-ish that I will do my best to be the opposite of who he is. Not as revenge, just because for me he was the worst example that I didn't want to follow. And
just
maybe,
speak like just job wise or also in other parts of your life.
well, job, this urge of collecting things, feeling superior, uh, or better than people who are less successful in life. He's not crazy successful, just like basic of what the capitalism expect from you. It's like, and end up your life a little bit richer than when you started it. You know?
Yeah, but for what?
Yeah. For at what cost?
Yeah, at
Ex-
what cost? Yeah.
exactly. So I think now he backs me up in my life. He actually he sent me very recently 700 euros in order to cope with in order to make me cope with my bankruptcy that happened because I want my girlfriend to abort from a guy who is not me. But he helped me, and that's a good proof that somehow the war is over, and he understood, at least partly, my choices, the person I am, what I want, what I expect from life. And also probably, and the most important, the fact that life can be lived in different ways. And there is not only one way that leads to happiness. And yeah, just, I remember what I wanted to say before. You asked me if I was happy or happier than people or whatever. I love to put statistics on everything. I love to put numbers on everything. And I think since I started my world tour 6 years and 3 months ago-ish, almost every day I rate my own happiness. 0 is a proper suicide.
Do you keep track on that on an app, or do you write it down? Or
No.
would be interesting to do that.
Yeah, to have a proper data.
Yeah, and then you have a really like a real
Yeah.
average. Then you're
Yeah.
like based on real data.
So, talking about average, nearly 3 years ago, I think. At that time, I was rating my average happiness around 7.7 out of 10, which 5 is, of course, the average of the world. So I do feel lucky and privileged, or yeah, lucky, purely lucky. Just to be above the average doesn't make me a better person. It just makes me luckier. That's it. And I was in jail because I overstayed in Malaysia, so I was in jail. I didn't know for how long. I thought it would be for 14 days, but I could get out after 8 days because my brother, who is very rich, by the way, got me out.
You stayed in jail in Manila?
No, in Malaysia.
In Malaysia?
Yeah,
okay.
in Langkawi.
For how long you said? 8 days?
8 days, yeah.
How long you overstayed?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and there was no way to pay a fine or something?
I tried, and no. Actually, I showed up at immigration on the 13th day, and they told me that the big boss was not here, and I have to come the day after. And legally speaking, they can put me in jail only from 14 days. So they totally did this on purpose because the big boss was absolutely there the day before.
Of course he was.
But
how was it in jail, if I may ask? How long you? 8 days, you said?
8 days only, I would say only.
But like Malaysia is like a third world country. How are the jails there?
To be honest, I can't imagine any worse possibility. It was I did not leave the cell, so we were feeding through the metal bars.
How many with you were there in the cell?
We were 5, 6 one night, but mostly 5 in 3 meters. Like I counted, I had nothing else but time, so it's about 10 meters squared. It's like 3 on 3, but it's a little bit more than 3, like 3. Just one sheet hole, everyone piece and shit in front of everyone. No blanket, no pillow, of course, so just the concrete, full of cockroaches everywhere.
Full of what?
Cockroaches.
Cockroaches, okay.
I had some, because of the food was so bad, I think I had some worms in my ass. It was like so ticklish. So I had to put my fingers and scratch my ass to put them away from me. I've seen people getting beaten up every day. I've seen corruption to its highest.
What was in your cells, your cellmates? You know why were there?
No, because I was the very much only tourist, only Western.
Yeah.
And none of them could speak English. It was very much in terms of education, the bottom of the Malaysian society, especially on this island. Most of them, I believe, were there for getting caught with drug and being a thief. That would lead them to get drug because ice, it's called ice, but it's like
crystal meth.
Yeah, it's a big thing there, and there is many addicts in Malaysia. It's quite of a plague, and but I don't know. Maybe there was some rapists. I will never know.
Weren't you afraid of like also getting beaten up or something?
No, I almost fought one time in my cell with a guy because he tried to take my space when I was taking a shit, and my space was everything I had in my life in this moment.
Sure. What was your space like?
It's like a coffin. It's like just enough to lie down properly.
Yeah.
But it was mine. It's just a matter of property, you know. It makes people thinking like animals. It's like this environment. I was trying my best, of course, to think rationally, but the values just change. You know, like today I was happy because I cooked with my girlfriend. I had a good meal. that's what I could define, like what this is what made me happy today. In jail, a happy day was just when I didn't see too many people getting beaten up by the prison guardians, or when I didn't feel too much trouble into myself because of the food, and that was all. That was all of my expectations from life in this moment. But yeah, just going back to the happiness topic, um, I was rating my happiness 0.7 out of 10 when I was there. I was it was very hardcore, honestly. I had to take some bread and use some saliva to use it as air plugs. Uh, every 2 days we had a tiny shitty piece of fish, so I kept the fish bones to clean my teeth because we have no soap, no possibility to clean ourselves. So anyway, 0.7 out of 10, and I thought that I would stay there for 14 days, but my average at that time was 7.7. So I knew that every day passing, I was losing 7 points of happiness, which was not making me happy, of course, for 14 days. So it's like 90, sorry, 98 points of happiness lost forever. But there is always another way to see the half glass. My joy of being free after this,
Yeah.
and the teachings and the wiseness that I could get from this time spent there would lead me to be slightly more happy after I would get out of jail. So I thought, because I know that time is crushing everything, so everything would faint. So I was like, the first month, I guess I will have like 0.8 point of happiness per day more. The second month, I will start to get used to it, so it will be 0.7, etc., until it's gonna be like 0.1 and 0. I will be back.
I would have thought, to be honest, that the moment you get out of jail and you actually realize, okay, I don't have to go back there, like it would spike, like go up exponentially, like from 0.7
Yeah,
in jail to go like to
I just did.
9.5
I just did.
because you appreciate everything. And
It's
yeah,
exactly what happened. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it was still a part of the 0.8 average
Oh, the average,
for the next month.
yeah.
So 0.8 per day. So it was from the 1st of December, of November to the 9th of November, something like this. And sorry, that was not utilitarian at all, by the way. And luckily enough, these two curves of like 98 points of happiness lost forever and this add up per month was just slightly matching at some point. So I knew the exact date on the 12th of June, like 8 months later, I would just turn out officially more happy than if I would have never been in jail. And this only thought just increased my happiness rate in jail already. Just to know that at the end it was actually a good thing to be there. And
Yeah, that's interesting, because you can apply that to anything in life, that it's a matter of perspective, right? It's like it's
everything,
everything. Yeah, it's
yeah,
in here. It's in the head.
yeah.
Even when you're in jail in Malaysia. Wow, what a story! Didn't know that.
Now
No,
I've some
I bet you have.
some stories, yeah,
Yeah. Well, no, maybe that's
but it's more like anecdotes and it's not
small
like
anecdotes. Yeah.
life views.
Well, maybe that's enough for the moment. That's good. Wow.
But
Eight days in Malaysia in prison.
but just about the fact that everything is a matter of perspective. When Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll just finish with this.
Sure, go ahead.
Um, when something great is happening, or when I'm happy, basically I'm cheating. I'm tricking myself. I'm tricking my own brain, my own perception on purpose in order to keep my happiness rate as high as possible. So when everything is okay, I'm embracing my present. I'm embracing all of the causes, the infinity chain of causes that led me to have this moment. And I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. But when things are going very wrong, and for whatever reason, I miss my flight for Los Angeles in May. I was supposed to finally reach America, and I was destroyed for a few hours at least. I was also physically destroyed. This is also why I lost my flight, because I didn't sleep, didn't drink, did, and being drunk. But anyway, just and when something bad happens, I just use this mental trick that, okay, sure, it's a consequence of something, but it could be a cause that on the long run will provide me more happiness than if this bad thing would not have happened. Same for the jail thing. And this flight that I missed made me being here. Now I want to stay 1 year. I met my girlfriend, and I'm so grateful that I missed my flight. But how can I be so grateful? Maybe my life would have been better if I would have took this flight, but I prefer not even to think about it, because this is not my reality. So I'm just
You don't know.
and yeah, that's the thing.
You don't
So
know.
because I never know, I can still pretend that when bad things happen, it's for the best in the long run, and when good things happen, I'm like, that's the best reality I can live in.
It's a good framing, yeah. I also heard of that. I don't know if I mentioned that before, of that exercise from like the Stoics. You heard of the Stoics, right? The
The
ancient
Stoics,
Greek,
yeah,
yeah, Stoicism.
Stoicism.
Yeah, it's whatever happens to you that you firstly interpret as bad, you can just reframe it as many times as you need to, um, so that it makes you actually be grateful of that situation. I think this is actually like in kind of a way what you're doing, because you're just like
Clearly,
reframing it. It's like, I
clearly,
mean, because the situation is the same. You missed the flight to Los Angeles. You cannot change the situation. This will always be
yeah,
the fact. You missed the flight. Period.
exactly,
That's it.
exactly,
But you can choose in your mind how you interpret it.
yeah,
If you missed the chance, the once in a lifetime opportunity, you never know. But you can also say, oh, I missed the flight, but now I'm here, having just a cigarette in the ocean, and that's fine.
yeah. I thought myself, maybe it will bring me to a place that I would have never been otherwise. And look at us.
Yeah.
And by the way, right now my level of happiness is very high.
That's good.
I would rate it 8.85 something.